We've all been there. We have all probably ridden a big yellow school bus. These buses take us to or from school. We've also probably made a lot of memories on the school bus as well, whether it be an event happening or just meeting people. Today, I'm going to be discussing 5 different stories from the bus from when I was in middle school, meaning 7th and 8th grade only. I should note that I did not go to middle school in 6th grade as I went to intermediate school instead. But considering that I never rode the bus in intermediate school, we'll keep this strictly middle school. I also am excluding high school, as that will be actually next week's story time, January 22nd. I'll be talking about 5 stories. 2 of them are from 7th grade and 3 of them are from 8th grade. I'm Zach, and this is story time number 3 on January 15th, 2021. So before I talk about each grade, I want to give some backstory on the bus I rode and what the environment or culture was on the bus, as I rode a different bus in 7th grade than in 8th grade. Start off with the 7th grade. So I should notice that in 7th grade, I rode the bus only on Fridays, as my mom always picked me up from school every day. Now, I'm not trying to be racist, but the majority of students who rode the bus were black, so I'm just going to let you make your own predictions. There were like maybe 4 of us white kids, and yes, I'm one of those white kids, by the way. I'm white, if y'all don't know. Now, the rules were that you were not allowed to swear or have your phone out. This didn't bother me, as I rarely swore in 7th grade and didn't even have a phone. Although now I'm on my phone all the time and I swear all the time as well. However, I should note that our bus driver had a laissez-faire approach to this, meaning that she didn't really care as long if you were cussing or if you were on your phone, just as long as you weren't causing a disturbance. So I think you guess what these 2 stories are going to be about. So it's enough talking. Let's get on to the first story. Now, something I should note is that this whole script is this is a semi-scripted video. So, like, parts of this video were scripted, like the past things scripted, but, like, what I'm saying right now in the stories are not scripted at all. I just have some notes. So now, this story took place in February of 2017, which was on 7th grade. And it was a very warm and rainy day that day. Like, it was raining, it was wet, it was very damp. And the bus, it was really dirty, and it was obviously really hot. And I told y'all that the majority of people on the bus were black. And I'll let y'all make y'all's predictions. This is what happened. So we have a 7th grade girl. I don't know her name. Like, obviously she's black. But, like, everyone was, like, complaining that it was hot. But then she just comes out of nowhere. And I'm going to quote her directly. These were the exact things she said. "Can you turn down the heat? It feels like hot pussy in here." Like, literally after that, everyone just started bawling, laughing. She said this to the bus driver, and the bus driver even had to pull over the bus just because she was also dying of laughter over that. Now let's talk about a second story, and this takes place in April of 2017. And this involves one of my friends from middle school. His name was Kelvin. He was a very nice kid, and we were friends in 7th and 8th grade. We haven't talked since 8th grade just because we go to completely different schools and have never seen each other since 8th grade. But as I told y'all before, we had a cell phone and the swearing policy. Just as long as you weren't like causing a disturbance, it was okay. But being 7th graders, I decided to horseplay with him. So I kind of grabbed his phone, and I'm like, give me that phone. You can't allow to have that. And then he proceeds to scream bullshit at the top of his lungs. Like, literally everyone in the bus heard, and everyone died of laughter. But the bus driver didn't even hear at all. It's like she probably heard it. It's just, she just refused to take action just because she didn't want to have to deal with him. Like, that was extremely hilarious. The fact that he was able to get away with it. So now those were pretty short. So for 7th grade, because like I don't remember a whole lot from 7th grade, and I didn't ride the bus that much. Let's talk about 8th grade now. So let's discuss the backstory for 8th grade. I should note that I had to ride a different bus this year than 7th grade, meaning there was a new bus driver. The bus driver took the rules pretty seriously, unlike the last bus driver. She would get mad if you swore or had your phone out. She's also pretty strict with the seating. On my old bus, she didn't really care that much, as she allowed boys to sit with girls. Now the bus driver assigned a seat where we were separated by gender, boys were on one end, girls were on the other end. Okay, that sentence was very messed up. Oops. Nobody had sex on the bus. Oh my god. I mean, on the other sides of the aisle. Oh my god. You know what I mean. Okay. Anyways, the bus driver was pretty strict, but she was honestly a bit too lenient for the students she had to drive around. Unlike the previous bus, this bus had more white people, but it was much, much more crazier than the previous one. Before, I'd met a few friends on the old bus, and the people that I wasn't friends with, we just ignored. Like, I ignored them, they ignored me. It was good. However, the new bus was full of bullies, and when I mean bullies, I don't really mean just bullies. I mean actual assholes who won't let you mind your own business. Both girls and boys. There were about 60 of us on the bus. Only about 5 of them didn't really bother with me. The rest were annoying bitches, but I'll discuss that later. I should note that I first rode the bus on the first day of school in August 2017, and I would do this the whole year up until March of 2018, which I'll talk about that situation March 5th story time, where I talk about my 8th grade year. So the first story, it comes from sometime in December of 2017. It actually had snowed that day, but like, it was totally uncalled for. Like, the news did not predict any snow, but then we just randomly end up getting snow that day. And it started snowing about 1 o'clock, I'd say. But, like, but we would get out at 2, because we normally got out at 3. And so, now oh my god, I can't read my notes. But, like, everyone was excited to get home, because, like, we were all cheering. We're like, thank God. And for me, that just meant getting out of Spanish that day. So, like, I mean, like, good. Because, I mean, Spanish was kind of boring in 8th grade. So, but now all the other buses were ready. They got out at 2 o'clock, like 2:05, and they were good. But for us, we stayed at the bus all the way until 2:30. Why? Our bus driver literally was not at school. Like, she literally had to drive when she heard about, she got texted over about the delay, or not the delay, but the earlier release. She literally had to drive to school, and she arrived at 2:30. We were the only bus out there, and like, we literally had to have another teacher sit in the driver's seat to make sure like people weren't misbehaving. And then everyone was just thrilled when the bus driver got here. We're like, thank God. So now let's talk about second story time for 8th grade. Now, this takes place in January of 2018, but the previous 3 stories were pretty funny. This is a bit different. This is actually a very serious story, and it's not really something that you should laugh at. Like, it is actually really scary. So, remember how I said earlier about how crazy the students were on this bus? Well, this is really what shows that the students were really crazy. Now, as a student, the thing that you do no matter what when you're on the bus is try to intimidate or distract the driver in any way, shape, or form. You never do that because you put not only yourself at a risk, but you put other people at a risk. And so, let's talk about a kid named Bob. Well, that's not his real name, but I'm going to call him Bob just to keep his privacy. Now, Bob was a 7th grader, and I'm just going to say that the 7th graders were way crazier than 8th graders. Like, 7th graders were, like insane. And so before that, I also need to talk about what a hornet is. A hornet, it was kind of inspired by, like, obviously the hornet bee, but, like, it's kind of like it's not really a device, but it's like I'm just going to say it's a thing, because I don't know what to call it. I'd kind of call it a weapon. Like, it's basically, you can shoot it at, like, somebody, and it would sting them. And so that's what a hornet is. And I think you can know what I'm going from here. So Bob, he basically one day literally threw a hornet at the bus driver. That hornet almost hit the bus driver. If it had hit her, it would have been probably a 100% chance that bus probably would have wrecked, because like the driver would be in pretty big pain, and she wouldn't be able to drive at the same time. Like, she would be distracted. Now, Now, I wasn't on the bus during this time, but the way I learned this was the next day, everyone who rode the bus, mornings or afternoons, had to go into the cafeteria for a meeting. I rode the bus in the afternoons only, by the way. And however, they didn't mention that it was Bob who threw the hornet. It wasn't the teachers. It was actually students on the bus. Like, I heard rumors of people like talking about how Bob got it, and I believe he got suspended off the bus for like the rest of the year and a 1 week of out of school suspension too. But probably the most serious part about this is that our bus driver quit over this situation. Like, because of this situation, she literally quit her job. So like, we were without a bus driver, and we had like have to have a substitute bus driver the rest of the school year, which for me, it's just, for me, I didn't really care about who was driving the bus, but it's like, dude, the fact that you would try to throw a hornet at the bus driver and try to distract her while she's driving, like, that, you're putting not only yourself, but like everyone else on the bus at risk. Like, that is extremely dangerous. And so, now let's talk about the third story. This is a much brighter story than the last one. This is actually really funny, and you can see a dose of karma in this one as well. So, as I told y'all before, I was bullied a lot on this bus. Like, these people weren't just bullies. They were flat out assholes. Like, I'm trying to mind my own business here, and they want to come over here calling me a bunch of names and basically try to criticize me for whatever reason, whether it be them talking about hairlines or whatever the hell they want to talk about. And so, there was another girl. I didn't know her name, but she participated in bullying me because she saw other people bullying me. And she only did this for one day, but the next day, she would basically get some karma. Like, karma would come back to bite her the next day. So, one day, now, this was in February of 2018, so I don't know why she did this. So, already she is a dumbass for putting the windows up. It is February of 2018. You should be freezing cold. Like, it's 40 degrees outside. Like, why the hell are you putting your windows down? And so, however, this was not a very smart idea, ultimately. As what happened was that the bus ended up taking a very sharp turn. It ended up hitting a tree limb, and that tree limb literally went right through her window. Like, it poked her in the head. She got plenty of scratches on her face, and like, her hair was extremely dirty. Like, there were bugs on her hair because of this, and like, there was a bunch of dirt. Like, she literally looked like she had just completed like a challenge in Naked and Afraid. Like, that's how dirty she looked. And so, while I didn't laugh at this, but like, I tried so hard just to not laugh. Like, nobody laughed at this, just because, I mean, she's popular and all that shit. So, you know how it was. You laugh at a popular girl, then you're gonna be screwed. But like, I tried not to laugh at this so hard. I was successful, but it was so difficult because like, this was so funny. Like, she had bullied me the day before, and seeing karma come back to bite her was just so satisfying. And so, she never talked to me again, thank God, and she just completely ignored me, which, good, because I don't want to deal with her, and I don't want her trying to be a bitch to me, so that's all the stories I have for my experiences with the school bus in middle school. I really hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope you all had a good laugh at some of these too, because, trust me, if you had been in my footsteps for all of these except the Hornet situation, you would have died laughing, just like I did or almost did. Anyways, that's all I have. Next week for January 22nd, 2021, I'll be doing the same topic but for high school. What I mean by that is between 9th to 10th grade. Anyways, that's all I have for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!